more than money. And so there are three main problems that are typical in most workspaces or workplaces, in businesses, in teams. And that is what's causing this lack of mastery. The first one is a lot of routine and mundane work. The problem is there because leaders don't look at a more visionary, a more challenging, a more stimulating form of work for their teams. I remember when I was first hiring, and I was basically, come join me. I look at your resume, and I was like, okay, we have this job available. This is the role. You just have to take care of like customer support tickets, and that's it, right? I'll pay you per hour or per month, but you'll pay per hour, that kind of thing. And that's your role. There was zero mastery because the work became very routine, very mundane. Even if you ask me to do that, I wouldn't like it. So how do you make work challenging and stimulating? Right? So that's the first challenge that I had. So when I had to redo or reframe the work that people did, I now had to assign mastery, meaning to the work in order to create something that was stimulating to their situation, right? And challenging enough so that they feel like they're getting better and better at it. This again, I love using games. Anyone tried a new game before? A new game. What's the first thing that? Any new game. Any new game.
Yeah, I try a lot.
What's the first thing that any new game gets you to go through tutorial when you first play it? Tutorial. Yes. Tutorials. Right? Tutorials, right?
Not really. I look at the character and their graphic.
Okay. Well, you have to figure out how to play the game, right? And most of the times there are like simple tutorials that teach you like how to.
Yeah, there's a tutorial, but normally I will skip it because I love to try myself.
Okay, that's also cool because figuring out how to do it, I think, is the essential part. That's what the tutorial teaches you to do, right? And I love that because if we can figure that out, that process for our business, that helps people attain that kind of mastery that's necessary. Because I was speaking to a client of mine the other day. He was asking me why his team had so many issues, and I was looking at his processes. And I realized what this guy did was, whenever somebody joined them, and it's sometimes a very experienced person, he would just give the person the full workload, full tasks, all the full projects. And that's a big problem because if you look at the video game example, that's literally telling somebody that's never experienced your video game before, even though you might be a very experienced player, no tutorial, no onboarding, no hand-holding, no familiarization. And you're expected to go from ground level, 0, to 100 in a week or two. Right? When you talk about work, that's insane. That's crazy, and that's not very realistic. When you do that, most of the time when people try to get there, what happens is they never reach there, and in fact, they end up just quitting. So, mastery, how do we provide something that's challenging for their level, stimulating enough so that they can, master it, they can grow, and they can progress. So that's the first problem that is typical in workplaces. The second problem is, okay, now that you have all of those, what happens when things are stagnant? You hit a ceiling. Then what? When you hit a ceiling, it's not a problem of the job or the person. The problem is there's no upskilling, there's no progression. So, okay, a person comes in, they hit, let's say, that max level that you have for them. It doesn't mean that's the end of their journey, right? What happens is that just like in a video game, they need to level up. How does level up happen? We look at upskilling, we look at learning, we look at the gaps that they have in their skill sets, we help them master those skill sets, whether it's through courses, through mentorship, through coaching, or through new projects that they take on. Right? So that again helps them master. So the second thing is really upskilling. And the third thing, I know this because Alvin mentioned this in his presentation too. And it's the fact that despite doing everything, despite learning, despite doing a good job, or just doing work in general, most of the times, people are invisible and unappreciated. So one of the things that are necessary, creating a culture of recognition. So remember the compliment exercise that I got you guys to go through? Now imagine if that was something that was in your teams every day. Right? People recognizing people's efforts, what everyone does for them. This creates a culture of gratitude. The same gratitude that Alvin was mentioning, and it's crucial in a team. When I was running 150 people, this becomes a big problem. We don't want to have people